Hello and welcome to episode 121 of Nolo Time. My name is Obed Velez, and with me is the most interesting man in the world, Joel Young.
What's good? No low time. Obed, good to be with you, my friend.
Good to see you, dude. I haven't seen you all week.
I know. It's good to see you. Good to talk all things. Well, look at us, dude. We're both okay. For those of you that are listening, you can't see us. We're both wearing Marvel shirts,
No,
so we're totally cashing
we,
checks.
yeah, yeah. And
There it is.
I am also wearing a Star Wars hat.
Not just any Star Wars hat.
Uh, 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 a hat that I precisely bought to spite the man babies. It is a Last Jedi hat.
Awesome. Wear it with pride.
Dude, I wear pride, sir. I'm good. I'm good. It's fine. You had the opportunity to roam around the Star Wars comment section this week on
Ooh.
Facebook because they announced that Rise of Skywalker is coming out on Blu-ray on March 31st. Not only that, but the entire Star Wars library, in essence, movie library, will be available on 4K that same day, and they will have a special or collector's edition Rise of Skywalker, or not Rise of Skywalker, but a Skywalker Saga box set that goes for a mere $250. So we were roaming around the comment sections, right? And I had to leave a gif of a baby throwing a temper tantrum because man, it's silly. It's like it got to the point, and I was like, you know what? And it feels good that I to know that we're not alone. It's like very divisive. Like there was a lot of positive comments, but you know the again the vocal minority were like, oh, everyone was putting in this like it was awful. I even forgot to buy the Last Jedi. I was like, yeah, I'm not even gonna go through the whole goodwill spiel again, but yeah, that movie will be purchased one way or
Absolutely.
another. I am still on the. I don't know, Joe. I don't know if I can afford the $250 because that same day Persona 5 Royal comes out. The next
Uh,
week, then the week after, Resident Evil 3 remake comes out, and the following week Final Fantasy 7 remake comes out.
your wallet's about to take a hit.
So yeah. I wanted to save money for next gen. Too many things coming out, so I may just settle for just getting the 4K Blu-ray for that, Joe. But yeah, man.
Although next gen might wait for you. We'll get to
Oh
that.
yeah, we'll get to that in a second. Exactly. Yeah. You know what? Exactly. Who knows? It's stranger times. It's strange times, and we got announcements that Sony and a bunch of people are canceling PAX and GDC and all these
Yep.
things because of coronavirus. We'll see, man.
Stuff and
Uh,
things.
but Joe, what's up? You went to see Sonic the Hedgehog. I unfortunately did not have the opportunity. I am going to again try this coming weekend. But Joel, how was it? Without spoiling it, because I really want to savor it.
Yeah. I'm gonna try not to spoil it, but my message to you was purposely non-spoiler because I was
No,
like, I think
it
you
was
saw the movie, but I'm not sure.
it was good. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. My response to you was Sonic is a good time, and that's the same thing I can give for a review here without spoiling it, guys. Is it a good movie? No, like I'm conflicted. Like it's a good time just simply because I love Sonic and it just they have a lot of fun with the character where they could have just try and make him take things seriously and it doesn't. The movie's it's a goofy trip. It's a joke. It's supposed to be a joke, but it's not a joke as in like let's make fun of Sonic. It's a joke as in like none of this stuff could really happen in reality. Dr. Robotnik
it,
existing in 2020 is just not
yeah.
realistic, but it's hilarious. You just have a good time laughing with like the silliness that's happening in the right way, right?
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, really. Again, I really wanted to go and see it. Change of plans, but that's good to know, man. Fans are really liking the movie. The movie did really well too.
It did one of
It
the best
was
comic book openings of all time.
yeah, it did what 70
Comic book
million
superhero
of.
movie.
It was
Video
actually
game.
the best video game
There it is.
opening, yeah, of all time, and Yeah, it did well. It's quite possibly, based on what I heard, the best video game movie out there. It's funny because I saw a list and they were putting Assassin's Creed at number one. You said that you like fell asleep during the movie or something, and
Yeah.
counting that Assassin's Creed is one of your favorite things. It's crazy. This is to
I know.
see.
I don't own the movie. That's got to say something.
Wow, I haven't watched it yet.
Unless I
Um,
find it in like one of those like good deal like bins or something for like $1, maybe
yeah,
I'll consider it.
I'm pretty
Yeah.
I'm pretty on the fence when it comes to video game movies because I don't normally go see them in the movie theater. When they come out, I wait until they're like on Netflix or whatever. There's been a few that I've watched and I'm like, what am I watching? Like
Yeah.
I've watched a couple of the Uwe Boll the movies that
Ooh.
that have come out. Alone in the Dark. Alone in the Dark is, whew, man. Talk about a rough watch. We talked about Batman and Robin briefly last week, but
We did.
talk about Alone in the Dark and House of the Dead and all these Uwe Boll movies. They're holy crap, man. Blood Rain, shoot me, man, dude. It's crazy. I think that the only video game movie that I've seen in the movie theater is probably Street Fighter because Street Fighter it was a big deal. It's still a big deal for me. It was a big deal back then. So I remember watching it back in '94 when it came out with a couple of friends from school, from my neighborhood and school. So that's probably be the only one which I came out of that. I was like, that was super weird. I know that the movie is kind of like a cult favorite now,
Yeah.
after all these years, but it's good to see that Sonic did really well. I heard that it has a really good Sega intro with a lot of like
Oh,
throwback
dude.
stuff
Oh,
that
it's
that is like
great.
Sega
The
fans
whole
will really
beginning
enjoy.
sequence of the movie's great.
Yeah, so I heard I
Yeah.
heard I heard some really good things about it.
And the end credit scene.
Okay, yeah, I'm not going out.
That's all I'm
Yeah,
gonna say.
I heard it's really
People
good
were
too.
clapping, bro. In my
What?
in my movie theater, people were clapping. I was like, "What?"
Really?
And it wasn't the kids, it
Wow.
was the adults.
That's awesome.
It's like, yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy that it did well. I'm happy that they listened to feedback and
Yeah.
went back and changed some of the art. I'm happy it did well financially, and it's probably going to do well again this coming weekend because it's basically doesn't have anything going against it until late March, basically, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So,
And Jim Carrey sounds like he would come back for a sequel, it sounds like, which is
yeah,
not a Jim Carrey thing to typically do. So
yeah,
that's a great sign that like
yeah,
he liked the film. Obviously, most people are liking the film, so they can keep this thing going if they want.
yeah. Apparently, he was very happy with the production, which is a very rare thing. Like, I think the only time has been like Ace Ventura, like
Yeah,
because he came
seriously.
back to reprise the character, and because he was very happy with the way the production went, and he was very happy with the cast and the director, and he was treated very well. So it's like, yeah, if you got, and it's a kids movie, which is sort of like what he wants to do now. He wants to stay away from like the
Yeah,
offensive sort of comedy, and he wants to stay away from more adult stuff like what happened with Kick Ass, where he was in the movie, and then when he saw the movie, he hated it. Um, and and I think that he's just definitely open to come back and do this thing until God knows when. So that's great, man.
it's
Good for Jim.
great.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Nothing much on my end. I did watch a movie, Joe. I finally got around
Ooh.
to watching Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, and I don't know if you watched it. Um,
No, no, I want to hear about this.
okay, but did you watch it?
No, I've only seen the first movie, man. I've not seen the
Okay,
second one.
okay. So it's very interesting that Disney decided to move this movie 6 months, right? Because this movie was supposed to come out like next week or whatever.
It's true.
Like this was supposed to be like a March movie or something. I liked it better than the first one
Okay.
because of not it not being an adaptation,
Mm,
and it was very because it was very original.
That's good.
I liked it because of that. It has some really good sequences. It felt more of like a fantasy movie versus like a fairy tale movie. So I kind of like that too. That was good. My only thing is that they did change the prince, which in the first movie it's the dude that plays I think Robin uh
Oh,
on Titans.
yep.
Yeah. Which I was not a big fan of in the first movie. He was a little dry. So they changed it. They changed him to a little more of a Prince Caspian sort of dude on this one.
Okay.
He's
Okay.
also dry as toast, but it's it's a little bit better, I guess. I
Okay.
did like it. I liked it. You know, I was it was a little too long, in my
Mm.
opinion. It was about, man, I want to say like 2:15 maybe. So it was a little too long, and there was a lot of like plot, but overall it was fine.
If it held your interest, then it was, then I guess that's what matters.
Yeah, it was fine. I watched the whole thing. I was like, this is okay, and I didn't like it was one of those movies that I watched and I didn't feel anything because it's like
Mm.
I'm not the target audience, but I still watched it, and
Good man.
but it was still it was still enjoyable. The effects were good. Um, it has some like really like obvious like money shot 3D shots at the beginning where it's like you get like a little fairy with a drop of water just closing in on the camera and just poking the face through the drop of water. It's like it has a bunch of shots like that at the beginning of the movie. Um, but it's like, oh yeah, that's money right there. Look, it's a get a little, CG fairy with CG water and looks great. Effects were good. Um, it was a weird movie. I think that's why Disney probably just decided to move it forward. It was like, oh, well, this movie, if it's done, this might as well just put it out there.
Yeah.
But I mean, nothing special, and it was fine. It's worth a watch, but would I go back and watch it? Probably not. It's a
Mm.
rent.
Mm.
It's not a buy. That I can say. And we
That's fair.
got the first one's around back here somewhere because we gotta have
Okay.
it. But yeah, yeah. But it was worth the watch. It was not bad.
Interesting.
Yeah, I thought the movie was not gonna be good. I went with very low expectations, Joe, on this one, and I really was pleasantly surprised. That's why you always do that
It's
whenever you go
true.
watch a movie. Other than that, Death Stranding still going strong. I think I'm about halfway there because they told me. Like the game, it's like in game, it was like you're halfway there, Sam. So okay, well, all right. So now I know that I'm about halfway there. So a few more weeks, I guess. I guess I have enough time until RE3 comes out or Final
Hmm.
Fantasy. Then I don't know if I'm gonna get Persona again or not, but I don't know if I'm ready for the investment. So 120 hours again.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot, and been busy. So we'll see. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much our what's ups.
For sure.
Yeah. Joe, one little nugget of information that we have that you just sent me a few minutes ago is that I guess there's going to be a Japanese adaptation of Ninja Batman.
Yeah, yeah. So supposedly it's coming quick. So it sounds
Oh,
like it's
Japanese
something
move
that
quick, man. When they do movies, they're like they don't waste time.
yeah, like it seems like they just announced they're doing this, they're filming it, and then they're just gonna drop it. Like it's being literally being in production right now, supposedly. Yeah, the animated Ninja Batman that came out, I believe that was last year. Obed, that one came out
Maybe early
uh,
last year, yeah.
early last year. Yeah, I do remember seeing the trailers for it, and I was like, dang, this looks great. Haven't actually seen the movie, no. Response from it from people both in the states and internationally seems to be quite positive, that it was like a fun alternate Batman, right? The trailer to me seemed really cool. So if you're gonna make
Yeah.
a live action one, like I'd be very interested to see how that
Dude.
translates, because there's only so much you can do when you do animation versus live. But am I interested? Yes.
Well, I am very concerned. um, as I wouldn't call myself a connoisseur of Japanese cinema, but I am quite familiar. Um, uh, Usually this sort of adaptations they do not end up being good at all, Joe. So keep your expectations low, as I said. And it's we've seen it with Attack on Titan, which I heard it's a funny thing to say because Attack on Titan, the anime,
Hmm.
it's probably one of the best shows that I've ever seen in my entire life. It's up there with with the best shows that I've seen. Right? It's phenomenal, absolutely fantastic. And I heard the movies are unwatchable. It's rough.
It's that
Um,
translation.
it's crazy. They the same thing happened with JoJo. They did JoJo
Oh
like
yeah.
live action, and it turned out like crap. I haven't watched any of the Death Note stuff, but it doesn't look good. I know that even going back with a movie like Versus, there's a very popular movie from the early two from the Matrix Mania era of movies from 2000 to 2005. I don't remember exactly when it came out, but the movie's called Versus, and it was supposed to be this like awesome like Japanese action movie, sort of like the Japanese Matrix almost.
Wow.
And the movie is boring, boring. So the only good thing that came out of that movie is that the fight the guy that did the I can't remember if it was the director himself or the guy that did the fighting choreography ended up working with Capcom and did the cutscenes for DMC3 for
Mm.
Devil May Cry 3 when it came out. Um, which I guess it's fine because those cutscenes are pretty good. Uh, but man, it's like it's crazy. Yeah, Japanese movies are a rough watch, man. And I'm all about Japanese stuff and
Oh, you
and
love
like
it, yeah.
live action stuff is rough. Even stuff that I think that's really good. Like man, there's this movie. It's a superhero um like parody movie. Big Man Japan. So Big Man Japan is if you haven't watched it, watch it with an open mind, because it is a parody of of superheroes. Basically, superheroes both like Japanese, like Ultraman, Godzilla type of thing, and a little bit of American stuff there too. The movie is very very Japanese, but it is actually very entertaining because it's sort of like a dark comedy and it has some actually pretty cool effects for being a low budget Japanese comedy basically. So I would suggest that because it's just a an interesting watch. But overall it's unless it's horror, it's probably not gonna be great. Have an open mind. So yeah, Ninja Batman, it's probably not gonna be that great. It's gonna be okay, maybe, if that. So
Hopefully we get a good trailer or something that we have
yeah.
a good watch and discuss it here on the show. We'll see.
Yeah. Gatchman. Oh, I can keep on going, dude. It's like,
Oh man.
dude, they did that Gatchman live action movie. That movie's awful, bro. And and the anime is one of my favorite anime of all time. It's like I grew up watching it. It's one of those things. And the movie's oh, all right. So keeping on with the Batman theming, Joel. I guess there will be Batman inspired restaurants open and bars open in London soon. So yeah, give us more info on that, man.
Yeah, so there's a news of, and this is some really interesting timing, of course, for this to come out with all the Batman news we had last week, right? Talking about the Batman series movie coming out, right? But yeah, there's this whole Gotham City inspired Batman themed restaurant supposed to be opening up. They're calling it Park Row, and it's supposed to be really massive. They're saying it's 18,000 square feet of space, 5 different restaurants total. Where it's gonna have different spots with different themes. One spot's supposed to be like kind of like Penguin's Lounge. Another one's gonna be like a Harley Quinn styled area. Another one's gonna be like an old Gotham City area, which is like kind of like the barish kind of area. Um, there's going to be a very British inspired area, which that's the area that if you don't have, like, of course you're in, right, London, right? So you're have, British environment, right? But you have got to have like Alfred going around serving people in this
Butlers.
environment,
Yeah.
dude. You gotta do. If Alfred's serving you, that's just gonna be great. Yeah, it's cool. Like the concept art for it is it's out there. I'd recommend you guys look it up on the internet. It looks like a really like fun time. Like if this is something that's not like, oh, this looks goofy and like you go to like a theme park like here in Florida we have Universal, where we have under Islands of Adventure theme park they have like a Marvel themed area. They have their Marvel restaurants, right? And basically all it is it's
Yeah.
just like a general restaurant, but just has like comic book art everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Cool. But like this is gonna be like actual themed. So like you're gonna actually be like as if you're walking into these areas, which is gonna be really fun. And the last time I went to a themed area and really enjoyed it was Galaxy's Edge. They have a cantina area, dude, that's really cool. And so yeah, we'll see how this comes out. But some cool news coming out of London.
Yeah, interesting. And I think that this is, probably going to be a really good tie-in for the new movie when the movie comes out. Although the I guess this concept's opening sometime this year. The movie doesn't come out until next year. So if they can start building, hype, that would be interesting. I think there's plenty of opportunity for Warner Brothers to do something similar here,
Yeah.
considering like maybe like New York or Chicago, where it's like more of a Gotham City inspired thing. There's I'm sure that there's plenty of places, and they can probably charge a ton of money to get in because people will pay it, and people love Batman.
Yeah.
People love Batman. That's I don't want to get into controversy, but yes, it's nothing against certain characters. People love Batman. Um, I want to stay away from that, Joe.
You danced it well.
Yes, but yeah, it's pretty interesting stuff, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, not too bad. Jolie, want to talk Spidey because I know that there's a bunch of stuff, bunch of
Yeah.
rumors surrounding what that mystery movie that's
Yeah.
slated for, was it October next year?
October 2021.
Yeah.
So
So apparently, something that we've talked about in the past is more than likely happening, and that is the idea that there is a multiverse, and the multiverse basically is the MCU and the Sony universe that they've had in the past 20 years or so. So yeah, take it away, man, because you got more info on this that I do, but I've read the article, but I know that Spidey's your dude, so I know that you have strong opinions about this.
absolutely. So basically, when we look at the rumors that were coming out, it's look, there's a lot of writing and storytelling being developed for this untitled movie, and it was very much being promoted as a movie that was going to have Spider-Man in it. And so reports are going around. Sony's looking to have this type of Spider-Man and that type of Spider-Man. And I started reading several different articles of different spins on different things that were going to be happening supposedly. And the one thing that you can take away from it is, because the big question was, well, you're saying that Tom Holland's not going to be Spider-Man anymore, or are you saying that they're going to change Tom Holland's Spider-Man to a different type of Spider-Man? Some things that just sounded different, and then start piecing these different news bits together. You can go on the internet, start looking up all kinds of stuff, and you start to realize, hold on a second, they're talking about multiple Spider-Man in one movie. We've talked about beforehand the multiverse, being a thing that fans have wanted to also, but now it's something that's now really seemed to progress here with all the rumors pointing to very specifically Andrew Garfield returning for this multiverse film. It's rumored that Amy Pascal strongly wants to bring him back into the fray. Maybe this is kind of a way of playing nice with him as well, considering that his series got cut short to movies.
Yeah, yeah. Because I was gonna say he signed up for 4 movies, right?
Right, right.
Originally, yeah.
They just cut that contract, so it's a nice way to bring him in and let him continue. And he's talked about still wanting to continue it and seemed quite positive about the future of Spider-Man. Tobey Maguire is the big question mark. I think there's it
Which
sounds
he
like
actually signed for a fourth movie that never happened too.
exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
So it happened to him too. So he was willing to come back, and a lot of the stuff that was supposed to be for his fourth movie got carried into the Amazing Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man Homecoming. There's still a little bit of stuff ideas that got crossed over to there from Sony's prior writings, stuff from Raimi and others. But interesting enough, it seems like Garfield's the one, like for sure they're targeting. Maguire would be a plus. So I think at this point, assuming that the actors themselves are good with it, sounds like Sony wants to bring them in. And then of course the question starts to rumble about would they use this as an opportunity to introduce a live action Miles Morales, Spider Gwen? Is this an opportunity to introduce other people? The main ones we know of are prior existing, but this is a way, if Sony's trying to look at it as like, look, we want to exist and make our own money separate from Tom Holland's MCU Spider-Man, who at this point has been a major success for them. They to the point they had to re-sign and renegotiate a deal with Disney to continue on,
Hmm.
because of how much the response and positivity towards Tom Holland's Spider-Man series has been. It's been overwhelming. Um, Here's my thing, Obed. From a business standpoint, I think it's cool, and I think most people
Oh,
would be happy with one movie like this. Like, it would be really fun. The problem, I believe, is it's almost sounds like because they want to exist so separately, this is pure speculation now. Right? We got a headline, we speculate. Is that I feel as though they would want to, because they want to exist separate from the MCU, they would somehow try and continue like a Garfield Spider-Man universe or some other way of continuing the Spider-Man world without Tom Holland Spider-Man. And that is something that is concerning to me because Sony does not have a great track record of being the best creative when it comes to outside of Kevin Feige's leadership. Of course, the Tobey Maguire series, we've got one of them that's one, Spider-Man 2. It's one of the best superhero movies of all time. But the other ones, I enjoy the other ones. I think they're good movies. But outside of that particular scene, the Garfield movies, forgettable. The actors rememberable because he's a good
yeah.
actor, but the movies themselves are forgettable. Most people can't remember villains and that kind of thing. Um, that's not been the case with Tom Holland Spider-Man, right? Like, it's been very memorable. It's been big summer moments, like we should expect for Spider-Man. And yeah, I'm very concerned about the future beyond this, is what I would really say. I think it's really, as a Spider-Man fan, cool. Like, I would love to see this multiverse happen live. Um, but this also talks about, we talked about before, Obed, like Sinister Six probably was one of the ideas we thought. The Maximum Carnage maybe being that. Sounds like all those things are going to be canned for this multiverse movie.
I mean, that could possibly be something that they will look into expanding in the future if they have the upper. I know that if they have the opportunity to do this movie, they will take it,
Yeah,
and they should. They absolutely should. So that being said, I think that something like Maximum Carnage, after you bring in the guys, I'm assuming Venom's gonna be in there somewhere.
yeah,
Carnage will already be established. Other characters may or may not cross over from NCU as cameos. Um, maybe something like Maximum Carnage is, which is basically like almost almost like Spider-Man's Avengers, if you want to call it. Yeah, I
sure.
mean, he does have Captain America and Iron Fist and all these guys that maybe we'll get. I don't know, maybe Iron Fist this movie. Who knows, right? So there's definitely there's definitely reason for concern too, because we don't know, right? Um, but I'm thinking that if they're willing to do a big, you know, team up like this, especially having three Spider-Mans and then doing a Spider-Verse thing, I think that it's gonna be fine. I don't think they're gonna really mess it up that much. I think, again, going back to the Amazing Spider-Man movies, I think the first one's actually a very enjoyable movie. It's actually fun, and Garfield's good as Spider-Man. The second one is just not a good movie. Just not a good movie, man. I've watched it. I never watched it in the movie theater. I bought it on Blu-ray when it came out, and I watched it once. I never watched it again, and it was on TV the other day, and yeah, change the channel. Uh, so yeah, we'll see. I'm excited if this is true. If Tom Holland's on board, I think the movie's gonna be good because I don't think Tom Holland's gonna risk his Spider-Man, his interpretation of Spider-Man to be, basically thrown to the ground by a bad movie. At this point, I don't think he has a choice though. But you know, if this is the movie that Sony wants to do with him, I'm on board. So uh,
This makes both Morbius and, more specifically to me, Venom 2 way more interesting movies. Like,
yes,
now I'm really gonna be watching, because if they're creatively planning this movie and those movies haven't come out yet, there must be some type of tie-in to the larger Sony Spider-Verse,
yep.
that's coming that we just didn't recognize.
Yeah, not to mention that, again, of course, Venom being a pivotal character on Maximum Carnage, and Morbius is
Yeah.
involved in it as well.
Yes.
So this could be the lead-in for that. Especially with now having Morbius. The other characters have been established, right? We got Iron Fist, we got Captain America. We don't have Reed Richards yet. I mean, we do have, the basically John Krasinski is on board to play Mr. Fantastic, but it's not official yet. It's not out yet. So I don't think that Marvel meaning Disney is not willing to just put them out just yet. They're gonna build up on their own. Um, but this is very interesting. I am
Yeah.
on board. I am very much on board on with this thing. If this is true, I'm just getting really happy just thinking about it. I was like, man, in a year and a half, I could be watching like a Spider Verse thing, like a live action, like multiverse Spider thing. It's man,
To me, I'm more excited to see Maguire back in the suit than I am seeing Garfield.
dude.
If Maguire
Yeah,
comes back in the suit, older Spider-Man
he
or
could play the
whatever,
out of shape,
yeah,
the
yeah,
the
man.
depressed, out of shape, Peter Parker, like on Spider Verse. He was the best character in that movie. It was great.
Oh man,
Yeah,
I, if Maguire comes back, man, that's gonna be something.
yeah. We're gonna get the the Maguire letting himself go, and then Garfield being all sad for Gwen, and then we got Tom Holland in the middle, and then who knows what else?
What? I
Like,
said Miles
uh,
Morales, Spider
Miles
Gwen. We don't know.
yeah, Spider Ham. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
I don't know. Possibilities are endless, like the universe
Yeah.
is. So, so we shall see about that. Joe, let's go ahead and take a quick break. We shall be right back. And we're back. Joel, Nintendo's doing a little bit of an experiment here. They are setting up game stations at airports around the U.S. There's at least 4 locations that will have this sort of setup, and that would be Dulles International, Seattle Tacoma, Chicago O'Hare, and Dallas. So it's very interesting. It looks like they'll have basically a game demo station, not just a station. It looks a little bit of a has a little bit of a loungy look to it.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. Um, and they're gonna have basically Switch games. They're gonna have things like Mario Party that multiple people can play, families can play, as well as other games. I'm assuming they're going to more likely demo new stuff too. So yeah, very very cool stuff that they're doing this sort of kiosk. What do you think, man?
Smart marketing. Like, this is a harmless thing. You go into your Best Buy or you go into a GameStop, right? And they always have a Switch, out there, and with demos running on them or whatnot, right? That tends to be a thing. But no one thinks about doing these kinds of marketing in airports like this in this way, right?
Yeah,
This is not a thing that you would see. Again, you'd only see this in your stores usually. So to bring this into an atmosphere where people are traveling, they have time to waste. There's many people who have flights that are held up, delayed, or they're just there early at the airport, like
yeah,
many other people who travel. And guess what? Maybe they don't own a Switch, but they've always looked at it, thought it was interesting, but never actually laid hands on one or watched one. You're putting it in the right prime place for opportunities where people get their hands on them and they have the time to actually go in and experience something. Would I do this? Well, with illness being a thing, I'd be wearing my gloves and my mask, as I touch these things. But you know it. But you know what? I still think it's a smart marketing pull. We just talked about the whole restaurant experience with
yeah,
DC and the Batman restaurants, right? It's like a fun experience that people are going to have, and they're putting their money. This is not a situation where people are spending money, so they're not necessarily getting revenue. They're just really getting exposure. But man, it goes a long way. I think that they could definitely, not that Nintendo even needs right now. They're selling well, but man, what a great way to literally get this in the hands of people.
yeah, yeah. And that just actually being there and having the product out there so people can experience it. Uh, it's I think it's a great opportunity for Nintendo to expand. I don't think they're in a hurry to release new hardware. At least we know that this year is not going to happen.
Yeah.
And they did announce a new color for the Switch Lite. The coral color is sort of like a pinkish color, and that looks very nice. I actually showed my daughter a little picture of it. It's like, hey, what do you think of this? And she's like, is that gonna be for me? Like, I don't know, we'll see. So yeah,
Nice.
yeah. So it's very appealing. That color, especially for girls, it is appealing. So it looks very nice. It this will the kiosk will also give you an opportunity, Joel. If you don't have a Switch, or if you have a Switch and want another one, you can order a Switch through through one of these kiosks, and that will get you a free carry case, a $10 coupon for Target, so you can use on any Nintendo product purchase of $75 or more. So they are giving you some stuff if they get you. If they
Right.
get
If
you,
they
they
get
get you.
you.
If they get you, they'll get you some things, which is nice. On average, you'll spend 15, $20 on a case. $10 is not bad considering that Nintendo rarely discounts any other stuff.
Hmm.
So you may want to hold on to that $10 coupon and wait until there's a sale or something, and then just use it. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Looks like a really neat space, man.
Agreed.
Um, which reminds me, Joe, um, just looking at this space now. Over the weekend, I went to GameStop
Hmm.
because they had the buy two get one free for used games sale going on, and it was depressing, dude. You can feel it in the air.
Wow.
You can feel it in the air. That's all I gotta say. Employees don't look necessarily engaged with the work they're doing. Um, the game selection wasn't that great, even for used games. I was like, oh, let me see if I can find, Samurai Showdown, and I get Samurai Showdown, get something else, and then get a Switch game or something. That way I can, just cooperate with these guys because they look like they're having a rough time. They didn't have Samurai Showdown used. There was like nothing else that I was necessarily looking, for. So it was not good. They had a bunch of stuff on clearance, like a lot of their Thing Geek stuff. So, man, it's sad. It's sad for sure. But um, I guess we'll have to figure out what we're gonna do. I mean, we talked about it. Well, last episode maybe was it, or
Yeah.
2 episodes ago? It was like maybe a year. Maybe after the consoles come out, and that's gonna be it. I don't know if they're gonna make it. I don't know, dude. I don't know if they're gonna make the summer. To
Wow.
be honest with you, I don't know at this point. Based on the amount of money they're being losing, and the state in which the stores are, I don't think they'll last through summer. It's sad, but um, they they paying the price for the lack of vision. So
Mm.
yeah, yeah. We'll uh, we'll see what happens there. Joe, one of your favorite things, Assassin's Creed, will more than likely come back this year, as the rumor is that Assassin's Creed Ragnarok, which is I guess, a Viking-based assassin Assassin's Creed game that's coming out for the new consoles, will be coming out this year. So yeah, Joel, tell us more about what's up with AC.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed Ragnarok being this, game that many of us were looking at, from the little like teases of artwork that we've seen, teases of like, this is another whole new era, another whole new moment that they're inviting historically into the AC franchise. I just love that they've never been the kind of people to kind of try and repeat a pattern, right? Like, you've got your Black Flag, which I really liked, Pirates game. You've got your, Italian series, which is the very beginning, right? You get your Ezio trilogy there. And now we're going to be going to back to, kind of a little bit of a boat warfare, but also, a little more gritty assassin style gaming. It is interesting though that there are rumors of Assassin's Creed coming being another early release for also for next gen when that comes. So being one of the first major titles for next gen. So seeing that this would be a good opportunity for sales. Um, I'm interested to see how that kind of goes between like it being it's to be a major title that'll probably be cross-platform, between what I mean is across generations, what I really mean to say.
Oh,
Um,
okay, okay.
but but it'd be interesting to see like how drastic of a difference, a console with way more power could play a game like this.
Yeah, it's probably gonna have the same thing that happened with Black Flag, where it came out on PS3 and PS4 and 360 and one. So it will more than likely be like that. Joel, we never talked about the bunch of games that Ubisoft just delayed, like
Yeah,
like indefinitely, basically, which was Watch Dogs Legion, that got delayed, basically
which
like
looked
pushed a
good.
year. It looked good, yeah. Gods and Monsters, that was the
Mhm.
sort of like this Zelda like game they had going on, like Greek mythology, and Rainbow Six Quarantine.
Mhm.
So this game's got pushed. Uh, basically now they're saying that they could come out anywhere between April and this year and March of next year. So uh, if- I'm thinking that Ubisoft will also have maybe a Far Cry game here somewhere in
Mm.
the next year or so. So I'm pretty sure that Ubisoft has a lot of stuff, up their sleeve. I like what they do, uh, because they don't really, they announce things when they're ready.
Yeah,
And to me, it sounded like that Watch Dogs Legion was ready, but they saw what they could do with next gen, and they just was like, oh yeah, let's go all out. Which that same thing happened to the original Watch Dogs. I don't know if you
it did.
remember,
Yeah.
and that game was delayed over a year because they wanted to go ahead and push it on new hardware as well. So there's definitely that possibility. Um, but yeah, Ubisoft, they're in great shape. They'll do okay. I don't think Beyond Good and Evil 2 is ever going to come out. I don't think that game's ever going to come out. So I'm not even counting that one. But I'm sure that they'll have new stuff, and hoping that they can refresh some of their older stuff. I would like to see like a refreshed Far Cry and see them try new stuff with Assassin's Creed. Although, we have to give them credit. The last two Assassin's Creed, man, they've really done some really cool things with that.
I
So,
agree.
just kudos for them. So I want to really see that series evolve into something better, which it has been, and that's great. But I would like to see, Far Cry do something new. Of course, Gods and Monsters is new. Whatever happened to that pirate game that they were Skulls and Bones?
Yeah, I don't even remember that coming out.
No, that didn't come out. So
No.
um, maybe that's one of those games. I mean, that game was like delayed indefinitely. Maybe it was canceled. Who knows? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We shall see. And Joe, moving on to some PlayStation news. There was a report that came out late last week that Sony is struggling to keep the cost of production of the PS5 down to where they want it to be. According to articles and stuff that's out there, the cost of manufacturing for a PS5, as it is right now, is $450. Apparently, there's an issue. Based on what I heard, there's a a price issue with a cooling component
Mm,
that's probably what's pushing the price a little bit. So that may be it. We don't know. We don't really know what it is. It could be could it be the hard drive? Could it be something else? So at this point, we don't know. The point is that at 450, they would have to either sell the console at 450, make no money out of it, or sell it at 499. The PS4 when it came out was 399, and I think it was like $375, $381 that it cost to make back then.
mm.
So uh they only made $19 per console basically. So they can definitely do something similar. They can do the 499, they can do the 475. I don't think the 75s are a appealing price. So you have to go either full or half.
Right.
So the wise thing to do in this case would be do the 450 and break even, um, unless they can manage to lower it. What's left on the year. I don't think that's gonna be possible, but based on and we'll talk specs here in a minute, but based on again specs and what we've heard from Microsoft, the Xbox One,
Xbox
Xbox
Series
Series
X.
X will be would be around 600. So we don't know. We don't know. So some of these rumors, or some of these pricing issues, that manufacturing costs that they're having, are prompting rumors of them waiting it out and maybe release February 2021. Also, issues with production lines in China right now because of coronavirus. There's rumors that if the console comes out this year, they will be on short supply, and they may just go ahead and again push to 2021. I
Yeah.
don't. I mean, I don't know, Joe. What do you think on that, on those dates, if that's happening?
Well, question for you, like,
Yep.
do you recall the last time we had a console to come out not like in the fall but in the spring that was
Switch.
major?
Switch come
Nintendo
out in
Switch.
March. Yeah,
Okay.
March 2017.
Yeah, but historically, Sony and Microsoft, I know the last one was fall, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Historically, PS3 and PS4 both were on during the fall. And I can't remember. I'm not sure if the 360 came out summer of 2005 or was it late 2005.
I
But
can't recall.
it could have been. I think I can remember PS2 when exactly it came out. But let me
Little fact check
while you
here.
opinionate, sir. Let me
Yeah.
fact check.
Yeah, that was just some stuff that fascinates me. Like historically, when these things came out, obviously, just in general, the success of consoles don't necessarily have to do with the season that comes out, just with it just being generally a good console, right? Like, it just needs to be really good. There is a competitive advantage between who comes out first, between if Microsoft releases their first, or if PlayStation releases their console first on the market. Sometimes a matter of weeks, sometimes a matter of days. Um, there are some competitive advantages there. I am familiar with. Okay.
So the 360 did come out November 2005. PS2 came out March 4th, 2000. So
Wow.
yeah, but I know
Wow.
PS2 came out a few months before in Japan. I think it was like September
Mm,
of 99, because it
mm,
came out right around when the Dreamcast came out in the US, and that's when it was like everyone was saying don't buy a Dreamcast because the PS2 is gonna blow it out of the water because this thing's
wow.
coming out in Japan like now and it's crazy. So yeah,
They
yeah.
weren't then they weren't wrong.
Oh no, no.
So no, the PS2 really hit hard when it came out. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't think I think it's totally understandable if you delay a console for the sake of both, manufacturing, so that way, when it sells like crazy, you're not like, we have no more consoles ready. We just wait till we build a bunch more and then ship them out again. Like, you want to make sure you can get these in people's hands while people are ready to spend their hard-earned cash on it, right?
Yeah,
Don't make them have to wait too much longer for shipments. And I mean, of course, they always sell like crazy whenever a new console releases, but still, I think it's smart that you have that as a part of your launch strategy. And then, look, the pricing thing, like, I don't know how they're gonna get around. Even with delaying it, is that really gonna help the pricing like that much? It's kind of hard to tell at this point, just
yeah.
because, yeah, technology is gonna change, and cost of manufacture is gonna change, and tariffs and these kinds of things are a real issue that
Yeah.
supposedly right now is supposed to benefit right now that there's a new trade deal involved, between us and Asia. It's weird to understand how much of a pricing standpoint of a leeway from timing makes right now.
Yeah. The only example I can think of would be the Saturn and the PS1 when they were coming out. The Saturn was released that summer. Was it summer '95? When it came out, '94. I can't remember. So, and the PS1 was released in September because I remember the
Right.
September thing for the PS1. Um, when the PS1 came out, the the Saturn came out at 399. PS2, the PS1 came out at 299. When the PS1 came out, Saturn took a price cut like 3 4 months later. Of they cut the price to to match the PlayStation. That's when I bought mine. I remember when they did the price cut, and they were not packing in games at that time, at least not yet. Um, excuse me. And I remember going in when they did the price cut and got a Saturn at that price at 299. It was like it was a birthday gift. My dad gave me the cash and I went with my friend and got it.
Ah, okay.
So,
That's right.
yeah. But yeah, man, it maybe production now is so so much different than back then that it's not even comparable. I think you're talking about uh things that were being produced in the hundreds of thousands. These guys are probably prepping to at least produce a dozen million of these things. So so who knows? I think that there maybe a price difference. If they wait it out, if they wait out those 3 4 months and release in February, where the rumors are, that could definitely be a possibility. But at this point, it's hard to tell. The Xbox is supposed to be expensive, but they haven't said it, but it's no secret that they are working on a cheaper model. So
Yeah.
they really need to do this. I don't think it's gonna be. I don't think PlayStation has nothing to worry about because they're gonna come out with exclusives. They're gonna come out with stuff, right?
It would
Xbox,
justify the cost.
exactly. Versus Xbox, there will be they don't need to worry about, at least for the first year, right? I don't see the general public adopting the Series X. I see the hardcore Xbox guys getting it to play Xbox One games and whatever third party stuff comes out. But the Sony guys are gonna wait it out and they'll get it. They don't need to come out at the same time. You know, they can they can. I think they could wait it out a few months. They don't have to necessarily be on par. But we'll see. That will give me a couple of extra months to save up. Although it is after Christmas, that would
Uh,
that's when it's tax season. It's tax season. There you go.
January.
Tax returns. Unless I have to fix something in the house, and then
God
no,
forbid.
and then no PS5 for you, sir. But there were some supposed leaked, again, specs. This one seemed a little more legit. Tech Radar is actually reporting on it. But again, these rumors still come from 4chan, so take it with a grain of salt. And let's go through the specs, Joel, and see what you think. So we're not to get they're not super technical, but it's the PS5 is apparently going to feature 12.6 teraflops of power, which is basically double the Xbox One X. That's with basically an AMD Zen 2 processor, 3.6 gigahertz, 18 gigs of RAM
Nice.
as that, and that's GDDR6 RAM with 4 gigs of DDR4 RAM, which I'm assuming that's probably just going to be for OS. Here's where I think this leak's not entirely correct.
Mm.
They're putting a 500 gig drive. I don't think, but here's the thing, right? The speed on it is 5.5 gigabytes a second, and that's important, and we'll talk about it in a minute. But 500 gigs, it's not gonna be enough. There's gonna be like 3 games, and then you have to uninstall one to get another one.
Nah.
I mean, unless they give you the option to plug in an external 4 terabyte drive or whatever, I
Well,
don't think
who's
that's
gonna
gonna
want
fly.
something that quick on a launch? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna fly. It will have dedicated cores for ray tracing and 3D audio, and total bandwidth of 576 gigabytes a second. The uh, rumor specs for the Series X is 11.8 teraflops, which if you compare 12.6 to 11.8, it's half a teraflop, if that. Yeah, half a teraflop. I don't think it's gonna be, when you're talking about specs this high. I don't think it's gonna matter that much. It does matter right now, right? Because that's basically the difference between the not even that, between the Xbox, the original Xbox One, and the original PS4. I think the Xbox One is a 1 teraflop, and the PS4 is like 1.4, something like that. So it's only like a 400 gigaflop difference.
Mm.
Um, the same thing with the processor, but this one's clocked at 3.7 versus the 3.6. So that's nominal difference. 16 gigs of RAM, so it has less memory based on this leaked specs, with the 4 gigs for OS. The hard drive's a 1 terabyte, but the transfer speed is 3.8 gigabits or gigabytes. I'm sorry. So you're looking at a, you know, over almost 2 gigabytes a second difference, which is the 50% different. The difference that they were saying, it's not 50%, there, but it's around a 40% difference, and that could be a huge deal when it comes to like the no load times on the games and all this stuff that's happening. So, no pun intended. I don't know with him. But yeah, and same thing. Dedicated ray tracing cores. It will not feature the 3D audio. I think 3D audio is a Sony tech. So total bandwidth 596 gigabytes a second versus the 576 from the PS5. So negligible difference when it comes to that. In that in that area. I don't think this is real because of the 500 gigs. I mean, if this thing doesn't have a terabyte, maybe that's why they're holding off. Maybe they want to get the hard drive right.
For
And
affordability at this point.
yeah, exactly. Nah, and not I don't mean holding off because we don't know that they're gonna hold off, but the speculation that this pricing thing's going on. So we'll see. We'll keep you guys posted when more news come out. I'm hoping that Sony comes out and says something soon, but they're waiting for Microsoft to announce pricing and do these things. You know, I at this point, man, I'm just have Microsoft go to E3. We'll wait it out till June, I guess, and we'll find out. So, for the next like 6 months, unless there's something official out there, I'm probably not gonna pay too much attention to. Well, we may talk about it. I don't know if you saw, Joel. There was a screen cap of the PlayStation, the Japanese PlayStation site, and they had posted PS5 as one of their consoles. You know how they have the little silhouettes for the consoles on the icons, and the silhouette for the PS5 was the V shape thing with kind of looked like the Dev Kit, but a little more stylized. So maybe they are going with that sort of design with a front facing vents in a V shape. But if they if they do the box a little smaller and a little squared on the sides instead of the little rounded edges, I think that's going to be better. But we'll see. But other than that, man, we'll wait it out and see. This next gen, so we'll see.
Yeah, yeah. There's plenty of rumors, about the cooling on this system, why it has to be in that specific shape, and
Yeah,
now hearing this about the speculation of the size of the hard drive and all these specs being discussed, it's like my whole thing comes to the question of like, would you rather have the console come out on its intended time frame that at least was partly announced, right? The holidays 2020, right? From the stick to that, and maybe you have less of the specs that maybe were originally planned that we don't necessarily know of right now, but they just take a little bit, pull out some stuff, just say, look, we're just gonna hit that time frame, or would you rather just hold out, and maybe just wait however many months longer, might be 4 more months or whatever, we don't know, until they actually release that console, just for them to be able to get the specs that we want for the right price.
for the right
It's like,
price. Yeah.
right. I mean, it's like for the sake of money, I think most people would be willing to wait. It's
Oh
like
yeah.
both cheaper money and the specs that originally planned. But if not, it's like, well, maybe they'll get you at the price you wanted, but you start losing some features that they were shooting for originally, and
Yeah.
that becomes a tricky place. We just don't know.
I gotta say, I mean, if those specs are correct with a 1 terabyte drive, not with the 500, if they do the one TB and with those specs, I think 500 is probably worth it
Yeah,
with those specs. I wouldn't for that. I wouldn't mind paying the 500.
yeah,
That being said, if they can get it down to 400, of course I'll take that. But even at the high end of things, and putting this thing at 499, um, I I don't think that based on those specs, I think that's still fair.
yeah, for sure, for
So
sure.
uh, you know, but yeah, we'll keep you guys posted. Joe, if you don't have anything else, I'm pretty much all set, sir.
Yeah, same guys. Thank you all for watching, listening to the podcast show here. No Load Time is, of course, easily to be found on social media. We're at No Load Time. That's at No Load Time on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. Also, want to invite you guys, of course, to stay subscribed. We're on iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, and Spotify. Easy subscription there. Audio version, and then of course video version on YouTube. Go ahead and shoot an email to noloadtime@gmail.com. That's noloadtime@gmail.com. And you can send us your questions, comments, feedback, what your thoughts are on all the stuff we discussed today, maybe from a prior episode, or something you'd like to hear us talk about, maybe even. We love feedback, so go ahead and send an email. But again, thank you all for taking time out of your day, listen to us and watch us, and we look forward to seeing you all on our next episode, episode 122.
Yep. Thank you, guys. We'll see you again next time.